Cornel West yet again. Um, this is this is something I was very clear on from the very beginning, right? I called out the nonsense. I called out the major red flags, but the left just refuses to learn from their mistakes. They put their hopes behind hope and change, um, Obama, then it's Bernie, then it was AOC. I don't have this problem, right? And it's not just I'm just a negative person or whatever. I just accept reality, and I'm not in a tribal bubble, so I'm able to look at things a little bit more clearly, right? I'm not vested into, my team has to win. I'm vested in us going in a positive direction. I'm vested in the country winning, not the left winning, the right winning, one party over another party or any of that stuff. Social media likes. That's not the world that I live in. I live in the world of reality. And in the world of reality, a guy who would be behind the scenes with the People's Party for as long as he did clearly must have known about the sexual scandals, then decides to run onto that same party, a party that has no chance of anything, when there are better alternatives there. I mean, he knows running is going to be a very difficult thing, or you'd think he would. So you'd want to pick the best party to do that. Why would you pick a scandal-ridden party that's got nothing for him? That was a major, major red flag from day one. And this is not something that is complicated. It's pretty much basic stuff. Like, that move was a real novice type of move. But I understand that it's really difficult for a lot of folks on the left to see it as such, because the big problem with Cornel West is the reputation and image that he has from the past. It's hard for the left to separate that from who he is today. It's just like the liberals with, well, some of them perhaps, with the America's mayor. The guy's a drunk loser clown, right? Anyone that still thinks, oh, he's America's mayor, whatever, it's a little bit of a different story, because even when he was America's mayor, there was issues back then. But any idea of him being any sort of respectable whatever, that's in the past. That's in the past. What he is today is a shell of what he was before. And again, people would say he never was really much. Cornel West, see, this is another thing. I don't have the background with him. That's another thing that separates me from a lot of folks on the left, right? They have a history with this guy. I don't have a history with him. I was never a Cornel West fan. Not that I liked him or didn't like him. Didn't really know of him. I think I heard of him here and there saying stuff, but I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't really into him. So I don't have this sort of connection, emotional, that, oh, this is my guy. No, he's just another guy, right? I recognize, the reputation he has and all this kind of stuff, but ultimately I can look at him clear as day, black and white, as just a guy, which means I can judge him based on his actions, not based on my perception of him or my feeling about him. And his actions showed amateur hour, not serious guy, certainly not someone, especially after Obama and Bernie and all these previous disappointments. The group of people who have been so disappointed by these people who come with their hope and change talk, and then when it comes to let's fight, somehow it's always something. This group of people should have not been so easily caught up in Cornel West. But I do understand why they did get caught up, because again, there is this emotional connection. He has that history. They cannot separate the past from the present. I keep saying this, I'm going to say it again. I think Cornel West today is a lot muscle memory. He's been talking about the stuff he talks about for a very, very long time, right? So it's just natural to him, right? So you're not necessarily seeing the product of who he is in 2023. You are seeing, very likely in my view, echoes of a man who once was, right? You've been talking the same stuff for a very, very long time, right? So it's almost like you pull a string and the words come out. The voice of the working class people, blah, 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 right? All the talking points and whatever, right? You've got to look at what is he bringing new to the table. Does he have any new ideas, right? What is he doing now in this moment, and judge him based on that, not based on the past, not based on your feelings or images of him or image of him. But I don't know. I don't know. We have very, very short-term memory in this country, I guess. It's funny to watch people who, very aggressively, calling out the squad or whatever, and then jump behind a guy who, and again, it's not just the things I mentioned before. It's also, I started looking into him after he started running, and I started recognizing that in the last recent years, he has had a track record or pattern of associating himself with some very, very, let's just say, questionable people, right? And I'm not just talking about, like, I'm pro, like, if I were someone like him, I'm trying to run for office, I would be aggressively trying to be on right-wing media. Not only right-wing media, but I wouldn't want to be in a left-wing or liberal bubble, right? I would go on Fox News. I wouldn't go on a Hannity show. I wouldn't go on a Tucker Carlson. I wouldn't go on those type of shows, but I would definitely want to be on Fox News. I would definitely target like right-wing independent media for sure. So I'm not talking about that. I'm definitely a supporter of that. Talking across the aisle. Don't just be stuck in a bubble. But I'm talking about him going above and beyond that in terms of just affiliating himself with some very, very questionable people, and it's a track record, it's a pattern. Cornel West of today, from everything that I see, is not the man of the hour, right? I said it in the beginning, and I kept calling it out, and watching all this, people going around, oh, he this, I know there's a strong desire to have some great leader because they lack leadership. But putting all your energy into someone who's not the one doesn't really help things, right? Because then you put a lot of energy behind someone who's not the right one and they make a mess of things. You lose credibility. People on the outside are looking at you and seeing the kind of people that you're promoting and how they're not delivering. Why should they listen to you the next time you're promoting someone if you keep promoting people like this? Better to be leaderless, at least on that level, than to promote someone who is going to further establish the pattern or reputation that the left is just a failure.